Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is like Christmas morning for me, and I am a child. I could not sleep. I've slept in like 15-minute intervals all night, and I said, "To hell with it. Why don't we just jump on? Uh, Plenty to cover, plenty to get to. Why not?" Brian will be joining me at some point. Uh, he has no idea that I'm going like an hour and a half early, but shit happens. Shit happens. Uh, So this is one of the most incredible launches in probably my lifetime, if it all goes well. And there's been many. This has implications for so many different things. Uh, this is going to be a historic launch. It's going to be an amazing launch. It is the largest rocket ever to take off. It's going to be impressive. It is going to be a feat, and I simply cannot wait. So we're going to start taking you through some of the stuff here. Trying to figure out Rumble because Rumble, of course, doesn't work. I I know, but tonight was an exceptional case. What's up, Comer, though? So we're going to start with a trip through kind of how we got here. I made a video last night, but this one I'll talk about a little bit more. So we started with this little teeny water tank known as Starhopper. Uh, Starhopper was a demonstration flight. Its sole purpose was to just prove the concept, and it did a damn fine job. So this one actually had 4 flights, and this was the final 30 meetup. NASA's a bunch of dinosaurs. So that's just venting for a while. So we don't need to see that. NASA didn't figure it out in 50 years because NASA didn't want to figure that out in 50 years. They were perfectly content with status quo and doing what they were doing. And it shows with their 40-year-old RS-25 engines that are on their brand new billion-dollar mega rocket. So they stopped innovating after the Apollo program, which is unfortunate but true. I just want to take a quick look over at Starbase because it's gorgeous. Why wouldn't we? We'll borrow Tim Dodd's footage for like 3 seconds. There she is. Look at that. So that's tank farm spooling up and all that good stuff. 2 hours and 40 minutes to launch. Yes, Xcomer. We'll be here the entire time. So then we went to the first full tank stack. No nose cone, no aero fins, no nothing. Just a literal tank.
2, 1.
And you see literally just a tank flying through the air. No aero surfaces, no guidance, no anything. It is just a tank. A big silver tank flying through the air. It's just unbelievable to see. And then, so the immediate thought is, oh, well, this is going to be easy. So that was SN5. Then we go over to SN6. And very similar. And that was simply just another 150-meter hop. It went up, it slid over, landed on the launch pad, and again, it's starting to look like things are easy. And then we have our lovely string of failures. This is SN8. These will be full duration because they are high altitude tests. These next three, 8, 9, and 10, and 11, all fail.
Stage route is go for flight.
So pretty video. They put together all the bells and whistles, made it look nice. Benjamin, to answer your question, what do you think is going to orbit or crash? Well, it's going to do one of them for sure because its flight plan is for it to crash. Booster BE7 or BE9, excuse me, is going to crash in the Gulf. And SN25 or S25, because I guess they've dropped the N portion of the ship number, will crash off the coast of Hawaii. It will not reach orbit. It is not going on an orbital inclination. It is going on an orbital velocity into the upper atmosphere. So it will certainly not reach orbit, and it will absolutely 100% crash. So, but as designed, as intended. It's designed and intended to crash, and the track will leave it just short of an orbital inclination. So made to go really high, clear of everything, but not quite orbital. Yes. Damn it, Comer. Not this early. So then we go to SN9. Now it has a little buddy next to it.
You're looking at Starship serial number 9 on the right. We are counting down for today's 10-kilometer test flight. We've just passed the T-minus 4-minute mark. We are currently loading liquid methane and liquid oxygen propellants onto Starship. Today's flight will be similar to our previous flight last December.
It'll be identical to your previous flight. Foreshadowing.
T-minus 2 minutes, continuing to count down on the flight of Starship serial number 9. That's the vehicle on the right of your screen, currently venting. On the left is Starship serial number 10, which is also being checked out for a similar flight later this month. T-minus 1 minute to the launch of Starship serial number 9. Propellant loading is complete. Next event is retract of the quick disconnect from the flight vehicle.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Starship climbing to 10-kilometer altitude. View on the right shows 3 Raptor engines burning. Everything continues to look nominal right now for the stage and for propulsion.
Oh, the power.
Seconds into flight, everything continues to be nominal with Starship. We're just passing through 3-kilometer altitude. Next major event is shutdown of engine number 3. Plus 2 minutes, flight continuing on Starship. As a reminder, this is a test flight to a 10-kilometer altitude. Engine number 3 shut down on time as planned. We're continuing to climb on 2 engines.
The tiles are going to be a serious
Everything
consideration.
continues to go well with Starship.
He originally didn't want
Good
tiles,
performance so far.
so we found out it's really hot getting back in.
T plus 3 minutes, 20 seconds. We've shut down engine 2 on time. You saw that on the screen just a few seconds ago. Starship now climbing on the power of engine number 1, headed to the 10-kilometer altitude.
Good morning, Linda. Me too. Me too.
T plus 4 minutes. Vehicle is at 10 kilometers. It is at apogee. We're continuing to throttle down engine number 1 to hold altitude. We're preparing for handover on the propellant tank. Four and a half minutes, we are handing off to the LOX tank. We are beginning to flip to horizontal. And the white cloud, the plume you were seeing was intentional. That is a liquid oxygen dump. We've now transitioned to horizontal and beginning the subsonic test portion of the flight, where we check out the aft and the forward flaps to hold the vehicle stability as we descend back to the landing pad. T plus 5.5 minutes. Starship continuing the subsonic descent, using the forward and aft flaps to control its attitude as we come back down to the landing pad. Everything continuing to go well in this portion of flight.
Land intro.
At least that's what they thought.
6 minutes, 10 seconds into flight. We're down beneath 1.5 kilometers. We're preparing to restart 2 engines, flip the vehicle vertical, then transition to 1 engine for the landing burn.
Hey, what's up, Wax?
Oh, I see. Let's get cameras up.
Yeah, no worries. I couldn't sleep. This is too exciting.
Rolling to anomaly net and opening 3.911 at this time. We will start sweeping for fires.
And boom.
As you can see from the scene, we had, again, another great flight up to the 10-kilometer apogee. We demonstrated the ability to transition the engines to the landing propellant tanks. The subsonic reentry looked very good and stable like we saw again last December, so we've got a lot of good data on flap control. And again, we've just got to work on that landing a little bit, but we'll find out from the team as they go through the data. We were in contact with telemetry all the way down. So all told, another great, and a reminder, this is a test flight, second time we've flown Starship in this configuration. We've got a lot of good data, and the primary objective to demonstrate control of the vehicle in the subsonic reentry look to be very good, and we will take a lot out of that. And with that, we're going to wrap up today's webcast. Thanks for logging on and watching, and we'll be back with another Starship in the near future.
It did, and they got chastised for it heavily. People gave them a bunch of shit for it, and it was not a good idea. But I think it was supposed to be we're this confident thing, and it didn't end up being that. Do you like they use stainless steel to build it? Yeah, Well, he was originally going to do it carbon fiber, and then saw the price of carbon fiber and said, "Why would I waste all that money? We can certainly just make it out of whatever the 304L stainless steel. Seems like the way to go. The weight's not much different, strength, and they actually blended their own steel to make it so it could withstand the temperatures that it was the negative temperatures of the cryo fuels. So, yeah, if you can make it work for cheaper and better, then why not? So, nothing yet. That's very true. So now we go to SN10. This one also crashed.
2, 1, ignition. We got liftoff.
And that's SN10. I don't know why they didn't make that one as spectacular as the rest of the videos. All these videos directly stolen from SpaceX. Thank you, SpaceX. They don't care about my $2 for fucking my live stream. So they're pretty cool. Thank you, Elon. So now we go to 11.
Flaps to control Starship as it descends back to the landing pad before lighting its Raptor engines for touchdown. Now we're going to do our best to find a camera view for the webcast, but as you can see, fog is everywhere at Starbase in Texas.
T-minus 2 minutes.
T-minus 2 minutes and counting. We have completed propellant loading, both the methane fuel and the liquid oxygen on board Starship Test Vehicle number 11.
T-minus 1 minute.
With T-minus 42 seconds, we're counting down. We are retracting the quick disconnect from the vehicle in preparation for launch in just over 30 seconds from now.
T-minus 30 seconds.
Good preval cycles.
10, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff.
T plus 33 seconds. Starship Test Vehicle number 11 ascending over Starbase in South Texas.
1 kilometer altitude.
We've heard the call out. We're over 1 kilometer up. Views from the external camera on Starship number 11 looking back towards the Starbase facility in the fog in South Texas.
Four kilometers altitude.
T plus 2 minutes. We're getting ready to shut down the first of the 3 Raptor engines. T plus 2 minutes, 21 seconds. You can see we have shut down the first of the 3 engines on time as planned. T plus 3 minutes, continuing to climb on power of 2 engines. We're past 8 kilometers. T plus 3.5 minutes. You can see with the camera view, we have shut down the second of the 3 engines as planned. We're now slowly climbing to the final 10-kilometer altitude on the power of the single Raptor engine. Once we're at apogee, we'll hover shortly, shut down the
He
engine
may
as
if he
we
gets rid
float
of her
over, and then descend back towards the
forever.
landing pad at Starbase.
So this one's going to freeze. This video
10
is going to
kilometers
freeze
altitude.
because
Coming
the
up at
actual
T plus
camera
4
froze.
minutes, we're at 10 kilometers altitude, and we are getting dropouts on the camera, but we continue to get telemetry from the Starbase, from the Starship vehicle.
Like the whole thing's going to freeze, but
While we're waiting to reestablish video connection with the vehicle, we have shut down the third of the 3 Raptor engines as planned. We're now beginning the horizontal maneuver back down to the landing pad at the Starbase facilities. As we get close to land, we will ignite the 3 Raptor engines, flip to vertical, and then land on the thrust of a single Raptor engine. T plus 4 minutes, 40 seconds and counting, and it looks like we've got some camera views back again.
Six kilometers altitude.
T plus 5 minutes, we're passing through 5 kilometers. A nice view from the exterior camera showing one of the flaps on the
Downrange and
Starship
cross-range
test
control
vehicle
air
number
flow gear.
11.
hold up. We're going to temper that word. We're going to temporarily. We're going to hold up on this. This is the kind of information you get at Mighty Meat Media. So this little yellow plane right here. Okay. I just went through all the shell companies. It's leaving Houston and it's going to Brownsville. Potentially could be for Starship. Like, here's a Mexican Learjet, but that's going into Mexico. This is about the only thing going into. So we follow this TT Leasing. TT Leasing goes into RCI Holdings. RCI Holdings own and operate upscale gentlemen's clubs and restaurants. So they're strippers. Elon's ordering strippers. Pretty based. Back to the regularly scheduled program.
Two kilometers altitude. One kilometer altitude.
T plus 545, we've just passed through 1 kilometer altitude, getting ready for the relight.
And no, I was not looking for Elon hookers. I was looking for the XB-57 from NASA. I don't see it up. Still kind of early though. Could go up later. All right, we're gonna
Do a
skip
camera
ahead on this a
showing
little
the
bit.
flaps were quiet as
There
we
we go.
descended, but then we had the camera freeze up as we got into the engine ignition
Like 2
sequence,
minutes of
and so we're
completely
going to have
frozen
to
camera.
find out from the team what happened. But with that, we'd like to thank
Thank
the
you,
team
Linda.
and bring the webcast to a close, and we'll be back with you with Starship, the next Starship test in the near future. And for those who just joined us, the frozen view we saw on the camera doesn't mean that we were waiting for the signal to come back. Starship 11 is not coming back. Don't wait for the landing. We do appear to have lost all the data from the vehicle, and the team, of course, is away from the landing pad. So we'll be out there seeing what we had. Please follow us on social media for updates. But with that, we are going to bring the webcast to a close. Interesting flight, and as always with Starship, an exciting time on our webcast. Thank you for tuning in today.
All right. So that is 11, the last one that exploded. Now to see the successful one, SN15. Actually, before we get into this one, right now we are hearing the go no go poll for launch. This is the biggest part of the entire mission right here. If we go for prop load, if they go for propellant load, they'll start loading the liquid methane and liquid oxygen into the spaceship, into Starship. So I'll wait for that call out. We'll see if we get a call out. And we'll kind of go from there. I'm hoping that we get a good call out. It'll probably be on X because he doesn't like YouTube anymore. Go figure. Space flight. Do we get to go? We're still waiting on go for prop load. We should hear it any second now. We're just waiting on the go no go poll, and then I'll start the video. But I want to see, make sure we're gonna get this. So okay, so we have go for prop load. So we have go for propellant load. Propellant load is a go. So we are on schedule. We're starting the schedule. So we'll watch this one and then we'll get into that. So T-minus 2 hours. We are on schedule. Go for propellant load. All good news.
OSC on countdown.
Copy, go ahead.
OSC, at this time, do we have concurrence that we've properly enforced the public risk clearance criteria set in our procedures and that our FAA license is intact?
Affirmative to both. I have checked in with...
Good afternoon. You're looking at SpaceX's Starship suborbital test vehicle number 15, countdown to flight in just under 5 minutes. It was almost 5 weeks ago. We launched Starship 11 on a test flight from the adjacent Pad B. Today's flight is from Pad A. Our demonstration objective again is with the last 4 flights. Slowly climb to 10-kilometer altitude, which will take about 4 minutes, turning off engines on the way up as we burn off propellant mass. Once we reach 10 kilometers altitude, we will begin the horizontal descent back to the landing zone adjacent to the launch pad. If all goes well, we'll light 3 engines to flip the stage back to vertical and eventually land on a single engine. This flight includes multiple upgrades and improvements to address the findings from the rapid unplanned disassembly we experienced on the last flight. This vehicle also incorporates changes that get us closer to the orbital configuration planned for flight later. T-minus 2 minutes, we continue to count down for Starship 15 flight. Pellet load is complete in the liquid oxygen system on the Starship. Methane fuel load is also complete on the Starship. T-minus 1 minute. All systems remain go for the flight of Starship 15. We're getting ready to disconnect the quick disconnect from the vehicle in preparation for flight. T plus 30 seconds. Starship 15 is airborne as we get a view of the 3 Raptor engines as we're powering our way to 10 kilometers altitude in today's test flight. Just past 1 minute into flight, we're through 2 kilometers altitude. All 3 Raptor engines continuing to burn. Next major event in about 1 minute is we will turn off the first of the 3 Raptor engines. Coming up at T plus 2 minutes, we appear to have frozen the view from the engine cameras. However, the Raptor engine's continuing to perform, and we've got shutdown on engine 3 on time. T plus 2 minutes 40 seconds. While we're trying to regain video from the vehicle, we continue to ascend. We have just passed the 8 kilometer point in flight. Everything continues to look good on Starship 15. Coming up on 3.5 minutes into flight, we're approaching the 10 kilometer altitude. We'll begin to hover here. We've had engine number 2 shut down on time. We'll now be moving into the hover with 1 engine, and then in a little bit we will begin the flip over to horizontal position and begin our descent, where hopefully a ground camera will be able to bring us live views of the flight. Just past T plus 4 minutes into flight, we've got the views back from the Raptor engines. We get T plus 4 minutes 34 seconds. While we're working to regain video, it looks like we've got a shot looking back at the flaps on Starship. We're in the horizontal descent phase now. We're passing 6 kilometers. Now, a reminder, phase that's coming up as we get ready for landing, we will light 3 Raptor engines, flip the vehicle from horizontal to vertical. If things look good, we will shut down 1 Raptor engine and then possibly a second one and land on a single engine in the landing zone. 5 minutes into flight, Raptor continuing to descend. We're coming up on 3 kilometers altitude. have ignition. Starship heading back to the landing zone.
To see that thing standing after that happened
And
live
Starbase
in
Flight
front of
Control
us.
has confirmed, as you can see on the live
Absolutely
video, we
incredible.
are down. The Starship has landed. We're going through the safing sequence in the flight computer right now. We'll be back in a
A bit
moment.
of fire, but it survived. So that is it for what got us here as far as Starship. So we have one more test flight. I wanted to talk a little bit about this from one. There's a couple things that are upgraded. One is the fire suppression system on the Starship Super Heavy. The Starship actually blew up one of the compressors for the hydraulic fluid, which is the thrust vector control, which steers essentially the engines. So that's always bad when you blow up your TVC and cannot steer your spacecraft. So that was a major upgrade. Another major upgrade is they upgraded the FTS to actually flight. The FTS is the flight termination system. So it's basically very strategically placed explosive devices that obliterate the rocket and not allow it to do any damage or any of the things that the last one did. So FTS definitely been upgraded, and then there was a third one and I forgot what the hell it was. There was a third upgrade and I don't remember what the hell it was. Let me think about it. But anyways, so what's going on right now? So we are coming up in a few minutes, 6 or 7 minutes. We are coming up on a start of fueling of the booster stage, so the big boy. So that is about to happen here, hopefully. Hopefully. So what's going on right now with the rocket is it's thermally conditioning. So these cryo fuels, these very, very cold fuels, obviously put stress on metals. So what they're doing right now is they're thermally conditioning. So they're introducing small amounts of these different fuels into the systems, along with purging some of the liquid nitrogen that's already inside of them, and allowing it to be able to take the extreme temperature shock. Because if you just poured in liquid oxygen, you would have issues with structural integrity and the steel. So they have to condition it and flow it through so it can get ready to accept the load. So that's always interesting. So that's taking place right now. So in about 5 minutes we should start seeing fueling. We just got a good call out from SpaceX that all systems are go for today's launch. So unless something crazy happens, that means we are go for launch, and we will see a flight today at between 8 and 8:20 Eastern time. They are not able to cycle or because there's not enough time in the window today. They have a 15-minute built-in hold. I don't imagine they'll go right at that 8 o'clock mark. I think that they'll go a little bit into the count, maybe 8:05, 8:07 a.m., and then leave that built-in hold because they only have a 20-minute window this morning. They will not recycle. It will not be today that they fly if it does not work on the first go round. They will not it is not very likely that they'll fly tomorrow. So it looks like our next opportunity, if something goes wrong and they do not fly today, would be on Monday. But we're not even going to talk about that because we're going to see it go this morning. So that's kind of what we're up against right now. We're about 4 or 5 minutes away from them starting to fuel at this point. So this is a live look at Starship. And oh, thank you, Lab Padre, for your countdown timeline that I just explained. So NASA Spaceflight and Lab Padre, they started their kind of by happenstance, and they have live camera feeds. So does Tim Dodd at this point, Everyday Astronaut. There's several others that have a live camera feed to Starbase Texas. So sometimes we just have to deal with booster liquid oxygen methane underway. So that's 4 minutes from now is that we'll get that for the T minus. And then 20 minutes from then we'll start wait. Why did they put it twice? Ship. I think that was supposed to be ship. The T minus 1 minute or 1 hour 17 minutes. I think that's supposed to be ship. So they start filling the ship after the booster because the ship doesn't take as much fuel. And the fuel today is liquid oxygen, liquid methane, super cooled. And then stuff gets really fun. T minus 19 minutes. Raptor chill begins on booster and ship. So we have 33 engines on the first stage, 6 on the second stage. So it takes a little bit longer than your traditional Falcon 9 with its 9 to go ahead and cool all those engines down for flight. And then T minus 10 seconds, the flame deflector active. That's another new upgrade. So it doesn't blow apart the pad and blow concrete chunks on the cars in the parking lot. They put a flame deflector for both sound suppression and to protect the launch pad and the vehicle, frankly. So we'll see all those things happening. Oh, that's the third thing. God, I'm slow this morning. The third thing is obviously the hot staging. So the hot staging is their solution to the problem with the first launch. The ship didn't start moving before there was a failure. So now they have a hot start. So the ship will actually fire up its engines against the booster, and it will actually pull away from the booster. So it won't wait for the booster to kind of fall back to Earth or begin its retrograde back. The ship will actually be under propulsion at the same time as the booster, and the ship will pull away from the booster. So that's something to look forward to too. And we can actually take a peek. Well, let's do this. Let's we'll watch how the last full stack test failed, and then we'll watch what the solution is. So
all operators on countdown 1. We're going to start our go no go poll for today's flight. Raptor 1,
Go.
Raptor 2,
Go.
Stage 1.
Good morning. On your screen is Starship as it awaits our first ever integrated flight test from Starbase Texas.
Flight directors, go for flight. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Ignition. 2, 1. We have liftoff.
vehicle. Tower clear. We're into picks over.
Onboard view from Starship. What a sight. We're flying at twice the thrust of the Saturn V heading to space.
Next cue. That's another engine.
And there, as you saw, as we promised, an exciting end to the Starship inaugural integrated test flight.
So, that was the first test flight. It failed. It failed because several factors. One was that hydraulic pump that overheated and exploded, so it didn't have TVC anymore to separate. There was also an issue where obviously it couldn't pull away, which is going to be important when you have people on board because you're going to want that pull away speed, just like you have on launch escape systems or the Super Dracos with the Dragon capsule. Those different types of things. You want to be able to pull the humans away from it to give them the best chance of survival. So, how do we fix that? So, SpaceX's fix is interesting. I don't know if it's going to work, but we'll see.
We light up 6 engines in the staggered sequence. Those 6 engines will fire now for almost 6.5 minutes.
And there, as you saw, as we promised.
And that's an animation, but hopefully you saw it. There's no way to pause it the way that I uploaded it, but yeah. So they actually slow down the first stage and then light the second stage, so that both stages are moving, but the second stage or the ship portion is able to pull away from the stack. It's going to put a lot of stress and a lot of heat on the top of that booster. If they reinforced it properly, then could be okay. I don't know where their flight hardware is. I'm sure they've thought of these things, but there seems to be a lot of questions with the hot staging ring, and how you're not going to get explosive gases in that bay. Excuse me. They claim to have vented it, so that's their way to get rid of that. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. That's part of the testing portion. It's all math until you get up there and can see it work. So that's kind of what we're up against today. We have begun propellant loading on the booster, so that's exciting. So we're underway. We're moving right along in the count today. We have go, all systems go. We have go for propellant load. Everything looks beautiful. We'll start getting another pull once we get down to that 1, 2, 3 minute mark. But everything is progressing beautifully this morning. We're T-minus 1 hour, 32 minutes, and 33 seconds. I was kind of hoping Brian would jump in by now, but he has not. He's probably sleepy poo. He needs his night-nights. He has a link. Hey, what's up, kitty? What's up, Dazzler? So yeah, that's kind of where we're at this point. So I do like how Padre puts. So they close the road just before midnight Texas time. They clear the pad and clear all associated areas. That happened at 2:15. So this is an all-night endeavor for them. Prop load began at 5:25, which is pretty close to right on schedule. I think that pushes us back into 525. 23. So that pushes us back into the like 2 or 3 minutes after 8, but after 8 my time. But we said that was going to happen. Or at least I said that was going to happen. They weren't going to immediately go right at 8 o'clock. It's more likely they'll aim for that 8:05 and have that built-in buffer zone. We can take a look at how things are going to go down. Like I said, we started at the T-minus 2 hours, T-minus 1 hour and 37 minutes. Booster liquid oxygen load underway. Also at T-minus 1 hour and 37 minutes, booster fuel load, the liquid methane, is underway. And see, I knew that they screwed up, but we appreciate their footage, so we're okay with it. T-minus 1 hour and 17 minutes, ship fuel load underway of liquid methane. And then T-minus 1 hour and 13 minutes, we start loading LOX, or liquid oxygen. Then we have about an hour where we're not going to see a whole hell of a lot happening. T-minus 19 minutes and 40 seconds, we get Raptor begins engine chill. So I have to chill all 33 engines on the first stage, all 6 engines on the upper stage. T-minus 10 seconds, we'll know it's go for sure when we see the flame deflector, which is just a hell of a lot of water. Ignition sequence at T-minus 3 seconds, and T-minus 0 excitement guaranteed. So this is our mission profile today. So we're going to launch from the pad. We'll get ascent. We'll get that hot staging, and it will pull apart. This booster will do a flip, and it will land in the Gulf of Mexico. Do a soft water landing, so they'll simulate landing on. They'll simulate as they were landing on a platform or landing on Earth, but the intention will be for it to smack into the water. The Starship's going to continue its flight. Starship engine's going to cut off, and it's going to coast. We're going to go through the normal flip and burn entry procedure. And Starship is not going to be a powered flight or powered landing. We've already done that with SN15. They don't need to really reproduce it at this point. You can do it later in flight. And Starship is going to belly flop into the Pacific Ocean off the coast of Hawaii. So it is going to do probably the highest belly flop of all time. Which I think is just a nod to Elon Musk being Elon Musk, to be honest. He just wants it to do a belly flop. As you can see, it is coming in flat. It is going to belly flop. Big waves, big splash, and should be fun. I hope there's a camera out there. I don't believe there is, but I hope like hell there's a camera out there where somebody's tracking it coming in. So when we look at the flight test timeline, all times are approximate. If all goes according to plan. Well, if we know anything about life, nothing ever goes according to plan. So 2 seconds is liftoff, 52 seconds is max Q. So it is going to jump off the pad and jump straight up there. 2 minutes and 39 seconds booster main engines cut off. So those 33 first stage Raptor engines will cut off. All but 3 of them. We'll have 3 that will be continuous. And hot staging Starship Raptor engines say ignition and stage sep. So we'll see all those engines, all 6 of those engines on the Starship fire up and start pulling away. Then booster's job is going to be done. So it will start its boost back burn. It will do that for about a minute, shut it down. It will go back to transonic. It will simulate a landing burn shutdown. And then it will drop into the ocean, and they'll collect data and telemetry on all that to see how well it was doing, how likely it would have been to land, and they'll be able to use that in their programming for later flights. So that will be helpful. T plus 8 minutes and 33 seconds, Starship's engines will cut off. Starship will re-enter at 1 hour, 17 minutes and 21 seconds. At 1 hour, 28 minutes and 43 seconds, it will be transonic, which means it's re-entered our atmosphere and it's slowing down. And at 1 hour, 30 minutes exactly, they believe, or 90 minutes after launch, an exciting landing, also known as the belly flop. So that's what we have to look forward to this morning. Should be a hell of a time. So we're T minus 1 hour, 25 minutes. See what they're saying over here.
Engines out all over the place this time. I guess my hope for orbit, I don't know. I'd love to give like a guess, like a percentage guess. I'd say 50% to orbit. I'm hoping it's more than 50% past hot staging, but it'll be very, very interesting. I mean, they've done so many tests and they've had a long time to sort of test out, especially through the last month of environmental review and all this kind of stuff, which,
Yeah. I don't want to listen to that. So now we're kind of just in a holding pattern. So everything is go right now. Everything looks great. Everything is trending in the right direction. I just want to point out that once again, this is a 360 for my fellow Americans. 360 foot tall rocket. 360 feet tall. 36-story building flying through the air. 360 feet or 120 meters. That is insane when you put it in that kind of scale. And for another measure of scale, it is a massive vehicle, massive vehicle. So here is kind of the flight path it's going to take, since we already kind of discussed where it's going to, or what time it's going to get there.
Starship will lift off from Starbase in Boca Chica, Texas. The Starship spacecraft and Super Heavy booster separate about 3 minutes into flight. The booster comes down to the Gulf of Mexico, close to shore, while the upper stage Starship continues on flying between the Florida Straits and achieves orbit before splashing down in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of the Hawaiian island of Kauai. And once again, we can't wait to see this happen.
I think it's ill-advised, just for the record, to have your water landing so close to a population center. Like, you have all that ocean, and you're like, fuck it, we're going to put it right down next to an island. That just seems like one of those, what? What are we doing? Why are we doing this? It's just one of those foreshadowing things that, we're definitely looking forward to. Hey, what's up, Isabel? Hey, what's up, Jess? Have a good night. Thanks for the raid. So that gives me time to go through my spiel again. So we are waiting on the second test flight of Starship, also known as Super Heavy, also known as Starship. So we're just looking at it right here. We are under propellant load. About to be under prop load for the ship as well. But we're definitely under propellant load for the booster. The ship should be under propellant load in about 4 minutes. Once we get doing that, we're kind of in a holding pattern for about an hour. We'll see some venting. It will continue to fuel. We'll continue getting go no go polls, that kind of thing, and we will just keep waiting for our T0 time, which is somewhere around 8 a.m. Eastern. But we're unclear because this is a test program, so it can be some delineation either way. My bet is we'll go probably 8:04, 8:05 a.m. Eastern. There is a 20-minute launch window this morning. They do not have time to recycle. They have a built-in 15-minute hold if necessary, because of the complexity of this specific ship. For those of you new to spaceflight or new to what's going on here, this is a 360 foot tall rocket, 120 meters. So a 36-story building is about to fly into space from Starbase, Texas. So this should be an exciting time, and we're looking forward to it. This will be the largest rocket ever flown. It will be just about 2 times, so about 3.4 million pounds of thrust at launch. So this is an impressive vehicle, and I cannot wait to see it. This is like get on Christmas morning for me. I've been waiting for this for a while. They were waiting on FAA approval because the last one kind of almost accidentally blew up ish. So now we're just kind of waiting. But we do certainly have go for launch or go for propellant load. We have go on all systems. We just have to wait for that go for launch, which will come about 2 minutes before we launch. So once again, we'll look at the flight path, and somebody explain to me why the hell they're going to drop it off the coast of Hawaii.
Starship will lift off from Starbase in Boca Chica, Texas. The Starship spacecraft and Super Heavy booster separate about 3 minutes into flight. The booster comes down to the Gulf of Mexico, close to shore, while the upper stage Starship continues on flying between the Florida Straits and achieves orbit before splashing down in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of the Hawaiian island of Kauai. And once again, we can't wait to see this happen.
Do that unless you're doing it for, I mean, is it a thread the needle type thing? Like Elon trying to show off? It just seems ill-advised to go ahead and do something that close to a population center. But who knows? So we are officially 1 minute away from the official time for liquid methane. It will be interesting to see if we get it immediately or if it is going to be delayed, much in the way the prop load has been. So the prop load was delayed a few minutes. So we'll see if we get it here in 52, 51 seconds, or if it will be shortly thereafter. And thanks to that Padre, they'll put timing at the bottom of the page here. So they're back on schedule if they're trending in that direction, towards that 8:04, 8:05. Guess we can listen in.
Fabulous.
Yeah. I might be misinterpreting their tweet there. 35 minutes ahead of liftoff. Yeah. Okay. Ignore what I just said. Not a couple of minutes at all.
Okay. yeah, Marcus House is making his rounds. So he's a decent space YouTuber. But yeah, it looks like we're behind schedule a little bit with that one as well. So probably likely right on that 804, 805 mark. We'll see how far behind with schedule we are. So we're starting to see a lot of that venting. Same thing we see with the Falcon 9 in Florida, where you see a lot of venting of the propellants and stuff like that because they are super cooled, coming in contact with that warm Texas air, and they make the puffy stuff. And we love the puffy stuff. All right. Still haven't got the official call out for ship propellant load. Methane will be the first. The oxygen will be 3-4 minutes behind the methane. So it'll be interesting to see when we get that propellant load for the actual ship. It's 114. So that would be 114 will be that 3 minutes. So that would put us even further behind than we originally were. Come on, Starship. And there's always a little bit of pause when when things don't happen on time or when you think they are, because you're like, oh, is something wrong with the vehicle? Is something wrong with the count? Are they going to scrub it? That kind of thing. So there's always a bit of concern when you're looking at that kind of stuff. So let's see if anybody else has it. Let's see what they have going on. All right. So still don't have anything anywhere. Prop load underway, but that is booster prop load. So we're definitely a little bit behind, but we knew that already. I did. By like 2 hours. I sent you a message. Discord. So we're still waiting for that propellant load call out for the upper stage, or the ship stage. Again, we're talking about 120 meter, 360 foot tall Starship. The fact that it can fly at all is just beyond impressive. Beyond impressive. No, I was like a kid in a on Christmas. Yeah, I certainly gave you a link. The link's above the message. I gave you the link last night. Here, I just added a reaction to your link. So you know where it's at. Yeah, I couldn't. It wasn't happening. Good morning, beautiful.
Good morning. I legitimately thought that was the one from yesterday.
So we're kind of in the screwy spot right now. So we're T-minus, trying to do math, 17. So if we go down to that, like, T-minus, let's say 1 hour 5 without ship prop load, then we're in big trouble. I would argue that like 7, because then that leaves us no window time for anything. But if we get into that T-minus 105, then we could be in trouble as far as the launch this morning. We are all systems go, everything's go so far. But it's only a 20-minute launch window, so
yeah, it's a very small window for this thing.
It is a very small window. I think that they are convinced that they can get it up and get it out of here pretty quick, but we're coming up on those. I mean, theoretically, they could rush prop load, but
well, I would be afraid for them to start rushing it, because then they might feel that if it explodes, they might not get another chance.
Right. Yeah, I think there's going to be some definite caution with this flight. I have a feeling it's going to go this morning, but the closer we get to that T-minus 105 is where I'm going to call it. Then the closer we get to, oh shit, something's wrong, and we're gonna scrub this launch.
So because I just woke up, can you tell me what the bottom numbers are? The 2341, the 215, and the 525. Are those times or?
Yes. So those are central times from Lab Padres in Texas. He's who I'm using right now, because SpaceX doesn't go live for another 25 minutes, 30 minutes. So yeah, so they close the roads around Boca at 2341. Then they clear the pad and all surrounding areas to include the waterways at 2:15 a.m. Propellant load started at 5:25, which was about 7 minutes late for ship propellant load. And that's what I'm saying. 117 should have been propellant load for the ship. It's the actual ship. He needs to name them 2 different damn things. Asshole. But so the ship should have started fueling at 117. And if you take into account the 20-minute window, then we get real tight if it goes much longer here. So we're already about 10 minutes behind schedule now. So it's still very early in the count, because it just started 30 minutes ago. So
right,
it's not a good sign.
I feel like they might be able to go a little bit quicker on the second load here, but
I hope so. If you're looking at, so I'm looking at Klein's different. So the key thing is we want to look for frost rings and stuff like that. So I think we see a little bit of a frost ring on that booster stage.
It's a little hard to see it.
Yeah, it's really dark still.
Are we able to hear callouts and stuff, or?
Not really. It's just them talking.
Let's talk a little bit about Starbase.
So gotcha. I'm listening to Mission Control too, and we haven't had a good call out on prop yet. So SpaceX is still tracking for for flight this morning, though. So,
are they planning on? Is it possible for them to launch just outside the launch window, or is that like FAA regulated launch window?
I think they're going to be very careful on their FAA clearances. So I don't think they would go outside the window just because of how shit they are with the FAA right now.
Oh yeah, no, they're in big doo-doo water with them.
We did, however, if this is any indication, I was looking for the XB-57, which is the NASA's tracking plane this morning. Haven't seen it yet. We did see, allegedly, it went through like a bunch of different shell companies, but ended up being a plane full of strippers leaving Houston going to Boca this morning. So
That's a good sign.
that's my exact thought. The W50. Fuck me. The WB-57 is up. So this is NASA's eye in the sky plane. So
they are still planning on so that is their. Is that a tracking plane for like finding what lands and where, or?
It's a little bit of everything plane. So I don't know if it will tell. So it has a suite of sensors, as you can tell by the nose.
It's got a bubble nose.
Also tracking and different radar systems in the back. It's NASA's everything bird. So that is the WB-57. That is another good sign. That
thing must be thick.
Yes.
It looks fast.
So that should fly with it, essentially, for most of it. But the WB-57 gets a lot of. Well, here, we're learning this morning. Let's learn about WB-57.
It's not like we don't have the time for it.
That's what I'm saying. High altitude atmospheric research plane.
Okay.
From Sierra
That thing's
Nevada.
probably got full air support and everything like that to the pilots. Like really good stuff.
Yeah,
not
it's
like
old
just
as
a regular
shit.
passenger plane. Old. How old?
Yeah. The plane body is, I think, 70 years old.
Oh my god. That's a World War II plane.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Why is there no video on this video? Doesn't make any damn sense. What's wrong with these people? I'm looking for a video that I can play. NASA. How does NASA not have a fucking video on a W57? Just Sierra Nevada reconfiguring it.
I cannot believe you messaged me at 4 a.m.
Yep. It just wasn't happening. God, how come there's no freaking, like, what this plane does? That's stupid. There's a bunch of them. Recovery, 57. There's a bunch of the footage that it's taken of Starship and that kind of thing, but yeah, we might not get like a breakdown. It basically has a suite of radars and different things that it can see a bunch of different stuff. This video is like 70% black. I didn't mean it like that, Bri.
God, I feel called out.
Like, it's a 7-minute video, but 6 minutes of it is black. There, this would work.
Yeah, maybe it's just classified and they never truly unclassified most of the video.
Maybe. We're having trouble. The hell, Rumble? Rumble was working a minute ago. Now Rumble's not working again.
Rumble? What the heck's wrong with Rumble?
Well, I don't know. I'm going to re-up it. There we go. Looks like it's working now. All right. So, yeah, we still don't have prop load. That's not a terribly good sign. All right, I'm going to let this video play.
Is this a test flight, or is it actually just that rickety looking?
So not terribly informative, but you got to see it fly for a minute. It's the WB-57, so it takes a suite of video, radars, different things, telemetry data, that kind of stuff for spaceflight. So
that thing literally screeches like a bird.
It's pretty much a bird. Looking to see what the hell's up.
I still feel like they're going to maybe try to rush the next amount of propulsion if they're taking this long to do Starship. like the top bit.
Yeah, I mean the good. There's a Gulfstream owned by a Wing and a Prayer Inc. What the hell is that?
Hanging on by a wing and a prayer. I don't know.
That's probably some kind of charity, so I should probably not make fun of it. A lot of FedEx. So yeah, we're still kind of just waiting here. It's kind of concerning that they haven't called that out yet. I'm just So I'm looking at the thermals. The booster is, I can't tell. Unless they just didn't call it out. But it should have been called out. That's weird though. So we're getting full. We're getting full on the bottom stage. We're up to about that frost ring. I don't know if you can see that frost ring yet or not, but so about that mid, that's where our fuel's up to about right now. It looks like we have a little bit of frost on the bottom. Again, it's really tough to see. But you see on the bottom of the Starship, there's just a tiny bit of frost. So maybe they did start feeling and we just didn't get a call out, which would be the best case scenario.
Like they just blew right past the call out that may or may not be necessary type of thing.
Yeah, just kind of said to hell with all you people watching. We don't really care what you think.
It's too early anyway. No one's watching this.
Yeah. Nobody's watching anywhere.
And then there's a guy who like doesn't sleep the night before, sends his friend messages at 4 a.m.
That's true. There's 80,000 people watching Tim Dodd. There are 6,000 watching Spaceflight Now. There are 100,000 watching Lab Padre. There are 70,000 watching Nest Spaceflight. So there are plenty of people watching. Oh. Propellant load of Starship's upper stage is underway. They put it on fucking X. They just didn't call it out.
Yo, your heart must feel so much lighter right now.
20 minutes ago. Damn, I should have checked X.
You should have checked
everywhere
X.
but X. So Elon Musk just tweeted a picture at Astra. I mean, if it's your toy, you get to look up at it, right?
That's what he sees when he looks down.
Beautiful. I hope so. I hope so. Yep. See? Propellant load of Starship's upper stage is now underway. So now we're going to do math. 21 minutes from 21 minutes ago. When would that have been?
21 minutes ago would have been
13? So 4 minutes. We're 4 minutes off.
Which is great.
Yep. I have it going 8:04 or 8:05.
X-Comer, becoming a member.
Hey, what's up, X-Comer? Thanks, buddy. Hell yeah. X-Comer gifted 5 Mighty Meat memberships. Thank you, sir. Now there's 5 new members.
Did I get one?
Probably not.
Nope, I didn't. I'm still a member apparently. Dang it.
So now let's see. We'll get back into everything here in just a minute, but we are So in about 20 minutes. So we're about a half an hour from engine tail starting. And then we'll start seeing more of the puffy. And we'll pay attention to X now instead of everything else. Psychotic Doll X. Hello. Where did I put that? So, have you seen the hot staging yet?
No. I mean, I saw like a picture of like what they're going to try to do.
So here's a animation.
Light up 6 engines in the staggered sequence. Those 6 engines required on a 6.5 tons.
And there, as you saw, as we promised.
So one, it never works on Kerbal. It would blow up your other stage. 2, I don't know, man.
I think I said last night at some point to you, is it going to damage the hell out of the bottom that detaches?
Yeah, and
I
at
feel
what
like
point
it would.
I mean, it has to. That engine blast would have to at some point. So how do you account for that when it's, when you're gonna have multiples and try and relaunch that? The thermal shock's gonna be ridiculous because you have the super cold liquid headed up against the heat of a rocket engine.
Right.
Like that thermal cycling is going to weaken the shit out of that, and then you put a huge spaceship on top of it again. It just doesn't seem like it'd be conducive to success, but
might melt the shit out of it.
Yeah, I'm not even as worried about melting as I am just the thermal cycles of it. So you're going hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, crack. So there's a little star hopper in the foreground right there. Being all star hoppery.
Aw, it's so cute.
It's so cute.
It just hops a little bit, you know?
The only one to fly 4 times. The only Starship to fly 4 times. Where the fuck did it go? Four times. This was its biggest one. Ready to move it up. So that was Starhammer. Now it's a water tank and a communications array.
I absolutely love how it looks just like a small silo, and he's just making the silo fly.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was the moniker at first when crazy people like myself were watching the various bigger channels now, Texas Tank Watchers, because it was just a tank flying through the sky. It was pretty impressive to see. So
That's amazing. That's an amazing name.
Yep. And now it's this big, giant rocket. I mean, it's going to be insane if it flies today and flies again. Not to, and this is a massive 360 feet or 120 meter tall rocket. This is 36-story building flying through the air. Go into a city, pick out a 36-story building, and look at it and be like, damn, things like thing can fly.
That's massive.
Where is SpaceX's? Yeah, 120 meters. Well, it's actually 121 meters.
Yeah, that extra meter, really makes a difference when you're talking about, an entire several story building.
Mm-hmm. Then they have 400 feet, so I don't know. Close enough. Diameter 9 meters or 30 feet. So 30 feet across. 30 feet across, 400 feet tall. Like it's just unimaginable.
It's just about 1.5 football fields for you Americans.
Like, so 50 meters or 165 feet for the ship. Same diameter, 30 feet. It can hold 1,200 tons of propellant. 1,500 foot-tons of torque. And it has 100 to 150 tons of payload capacity. There's super heavy, 232 feet, 29.5 feet in diameter. 3,400 tons of propellant. That is insane.
That's so much propellant.
And then here's our Raptor engines. So there's 33 of these bad boys on the first stage. These themselves are 4.2 feet in diameter. So we're talking about big engines. And 10 foot tall, 10.2 foot tall, 3.1 meters. So we're talking, what is that? A size of a car, probably?
A Prius standing up.
Like that's just crazy. 10 feet for one engine. There's 33 on the first stage. And then the Raptor vacuum engines are even bigger because gases expand and they need more area. So the bells are bigger. 7.5 feet in diameter, 15.1 feet tall. Just insane.
That's an incredibly large engine.
And most of it is just the bell. Then you have this little bit of dicky-doo on top. You have your turbo pumps, you have your feeders, you have your plates. But yeah. And they run on liquid methane, which is not a common fuel. And they also run on liquid oxygen, which is a common fuel. Well, common oxidizer, but
Oxidizer fuel.
6 in one, 12 in the other.
Yeah. Same but different.
I lost my page.
Find it.
Well, I'm working on it. So the WB-57 is over top of Starship right now. Making a turn. Making a turn. Well, now it's not. What the hell? Now it's in Mexico. Oh, shit. They're going to shoot it down. Wouldn't that be the shit if they shot it down?
They'd be Mexicans anymore if they try to shoot that down.
So here is kind of we'll use this as a map. So that's the W-57, the pink aircraft. I believe it's at 45,000 feet. So it's way up there. We'll start seeing this airspace clear up probably pretty quick because there's a pretty big TFR. So this is Mexico. This dark line right here. This south of this is all Mexico. Port Isabel is where it kind of comes in. This is where Starship is right here. The actual launch of Starship off the skyway right here.
Close.
And this is the production center back in here. And I assume you can see my mouse, but I don't fucking
Yes,
know
we
anymore.
can.
All right. So, but this is Mexico. It's literally right here. This is this little yellow things. I believe that denotes the border wall, because the border wall is offset a little bit. But yeah, so your border wall is here, and Starship is right here. So, super interesting. This is Brownsville. So yeah, that's kind of where we're looking at. And then, so we're looking at south tip of Texas. This is Houston area where Johnson Space Center is, where that WB-57 came from. We'll filter just the military just to make it cleaner. There. So it's just in the southern tip of the United States. Right down here. And that's where Starbase Texas is. Brian, we are 20 minutes away.
Ooh.
From engine chill.
Oh.
But engine chill is a critical milestone. So we definitely want to be engine chilling. Okay, I've been streaming for over 2 hours now, so I'm going to tinkle break. You hold down the fort.
Sure.
Please.
Absolutely. I'll get us banned before the launch.
Excellent.
20 minutes till come. And Xcomer, I believe the average refractory period of a man, I think, is like 15 minutes. I think. I might be wrong. That's how long it takes me. Kitty, he literally sent me a message at 4 a.m. saying, "Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm like a kid on Christmas. I can't sleep." Oh yeah, no, it was absolutely hilarious. He sent me the link last night at like way past my bedtime. Okay, Kitty, you and me both. I literally woke up and my heart dropped thinking I missed it. Because I was like, we were talking about this last night, and I was like, oh yeah, so I'll wake up at 5:30. It'll be fine. It'll be great. And then I see that he's been streaming, and I'm like, oh no. Oh no, did I miss it? Josh, I bet you your load is out of this world. Crap amount of coffee. I'm going to make an executive decision. I can't drag you in, but I'm going to make an executive decision. Let's see here. T minus. Oh, well, there you go. 5 a.m. EST. So 4 a.m. my time he started. 34 minutes. Oh, I'm excited. Dazzer, you need sleep. It's early for you. Late? Time in Europe. It's the afternoon. All right, light rain is somewhere on the west coast, I guess. Oh, they started their pre-show meet? I disagree. We should all be on one time all throughout the globe.
Yeah, we're switching over to SpaceX. I just sent the link to Dance.
I already sent him one.
Oh.
Hey, buddy.
Well, he has two now.
The executive decision.
Yeah, Brian made a decision without you on that one. He was just like, yeah.
Oh, Brian's fired.
Oh, I'm so fired. Out of a cannon.
I'm hoping it sounds okay. I was trying to use this microphone here, and it was just having none of it. Just wasn't working. So back to the old faithful rubbishy headset.
Unscheduled disassembly. Of course, there's no
scheduled disassembly.
A lot, which design changes and then ultimately hardware upgrades. That iterative approach is a big
Wait, is that
part
coming
of how
from here?
SpaceX
They're
does
using
development,
NASA spaceflight for the official SpaceX coverage?
including those on Falcon,
Good job for them.
I have to comment what gorgeous sunrise views we have here.
Oh, that's a great screenshot. Oh crap!
In
No.
fireworks, it delivered valuable test data, which our teams have used to rapidly.
I'm gonna take this
SpaceX.
recording and probably use it later.
Significant upgrades
Yeah, go
to
for
the
it.
ship, the booster, and the ground systems.
I'm
Now,
going
the
to
most
snip
notable
some
change is to
shit,
the
but
stage separation system, which will also be the most challenging part of today's test. We'll talk a little bit more about those updates a bit later in the webcast.
Now, in preparation for today's flight test, the vehicles have undergone dozens of individual tests, including a static fire on the ship, 2 super heavy static fires, and a final full wet dress rehearsal that we completed at the end of October, where we loaded the vehicles
Snip away,
fully up with
friends. Snip
propellants
away.
and tested our new countdown sequences. And that brings us to these beautiful shots on today's flight test day. After 7 months of hard work by the entire SpaceX team,
it's been
ready to
7
get
months since they
another
blew
shot.
up the last one.
100%.
Yep.
Now, once again, just
Yep.
like Flight 1,
I remember it well because it
excitement
was
is
my
in the
birthday.
air. The electricity is certainly
Oh,
flowing
happy
through.
birthday!
This is the live view of our
No, the
Starship
first one,
Control
you know,
Center,
back in
known
April.
as Star
Yeah.
Command. It is 6 miles.
I know, but
We also have
Brian, it's your
gathering
birthday today,
here
isn't it?
behind us
yep,
in
it's my every day is my
California
birthday.
at our Mission Control Center.
This is like
Happy
Christmas for
birthday,
Mikey.
Brian.
It is
I'm
early
quickly
morning.
marching
You
to
gotta wake up
death.
early to get that front row seat. And we also
With the rest
have
of
a
us.
public gathering
I'm
on the
closest.
beaches at South Padre Island.
Nope.
Oh shit! I don't want Bobby.
And I can't say
Diversity
that
hire is
today
failing.
a
What a
flight test.
surprise!
While it's not happening in a lab
Did you
or
say you're
an
closest,
experiment,
matey?
today
I'm
is
I'm way I'm
absolutely
a lot older than you,
and
fella,
the
aren't
goal is to gain
I
invaluable
don't know.
data to
This
continue
vid
rapidly improve
makes me think
Starship.
that I'm closer
So
than you.
whatever the mission outcome today,
Still suffering.
excitement is guaranteed.
Stupid.
Now, if all goes
Bullshit.
well, Super Heavy will fire its 33 Raptor
What's that? Have you
engines
still got a
and
bad chest, like-
lift off from that
You
pad
Oh,
right
yeah,
there
yeah.
in Starbase.
You got the
About
Kufid.
3 minutes into flight, we hope
So,
to see
here's
the Super Heavy
Starhopper.
booster separate from the ship and
The actual
SpaceX's
Starhopper.
first ever
This
hot
is
stage
how big my
separation.
hands
This
actually
means
are.
that the second
This
It's
is
the
a
real one.
Starhopper.
engines
Yeah,
while
this is
still
the real
attached to
Starhopper.
a
It's not a model.
partially lit booster.
No,
If
this is
the
definitely
ship
not a
enters
3D
flight,
print.
and
This is
if
the real
whole string
Starhopper.
holds together, its engines will remain lit for about 6 minutes before
This
they
is the
go to
real
space.
Starship.
Now, with those big ifs,
Again,
if we get
huge
past the
hands.
successful stage
Just
separation,
massive
the booster is
hands.
going to perform a flip maneuver, then execute a boost back burn before.
Oh
it
wait, so they
impacts
are doing the
back down
flippies
in
thing
the Gulf
still?
of Mexico. In the meantime,
Yeah,
Starship
he
will
has
coast for about
something
an
with
hour
his
at
flips.
altitudes ranging between 150
If I ever get a
to
chance to talk to
250
the man, I'm gonna
kilometers.
say, "What the hell is
It
your
makes its
obsession
own
with
re-entry
flips?"
into the Earth's
I
atmosphere,
legitimately
and then
thought
ultimately
that
a
was
hard
what caused
splashdown
the
in
first
the
one to
Pacific
not
Ocean.
work.
Now,
Exactly.
again,
Well,
if we
that's
get
why
past
they're
a
doing the hot
successful
staging.
stage separation,
Okay, so
Super Heavy will
somebody
leave
answered
the
to me
ship
why
at
they're
an
going to
altitude
drop
and
it
trajectory just
right by
shy
a
of the
population
orbital,
center.
meaning Starship won't have to fire
For
its Raptor
funsies.
engines for
For
a
the
Why
lols.
not?
burn and will naturally
So
come
the flip.
back into
Did he
the
used to be a
atmosphere.
skateboarder when he was
Now,
younger or something?
meanwhile,
Maybe
Super
that might
Heavy
explain
will
it.
attempt
I don't know.
a
He does
landing burn
kickflips.
before splashing
His
into
dream
the
is to
atmosphere.
kickflip a
While the
rocket.
booster will practice a landing, we do not plan to
God, I
recover
hope
any
not.
hardware from Super Heavy.
I really hope there's
or
no
the
delays
ship
on this because
particular flight.
I've literally got about
Now,
5
with the
minutes after the
exception of
launch, and then I have to
Falcon,
head
this
off
really
and
is no
get ready for
different
work.
than what happens to most other rockets
So
flying
if they've got a delay, I'll be like,
suspended
no,
or
no, no,
fall
no,
into
no.
the ocean after
I think we
taking
got
off.
to
wanna see, I
exactly
wanna see.
5 minutes
Even
before they
though
blew up
we
the last
aren't
one.
planning
So
recovery, the telemetry and data
Yeah,
that
so
we
if it's
receive
Push it to 10 then.
all the way to the
unsuccessful,
end of today's mission is
it's
really what
one,
we're
your
looking
fault,
for, particularly
and
with
two,
respect to temperatures
It's always
during
my fault.
re-entry and how the heat shield performs. Much
blame the
like our
Brits.
first test, we want to gather as much data as we can around the fully integrated
he's
vehicle
flipping
in its
NASA
flight-like
off.
environment.
So let's talk about some
the
objectives for
biggest
today.
fuck you to
The primary
NASA.
goal for
He
Flight
could
1
be.
was to clear the pad. We did that.
You
And
see
we have
this?
amazing
This
data
rocket's
that helped
huge.
us to
Fuck
improve
you.
the vehicle and pad that you see right there today. This time,
So we're starting to
on
see that
Flight 2,
frost all the
we're
way
hoping
up.
to get all the way through stage separation, where we will try to perform this hot staging maneuver. In the bigger picture, ascent is
Yo,
the
I'm gonna
most
hot stage
Oh, I
that
think-
woman.
objective
Oh
today,
my
and
god.
I think the
everything
hot
is
stage is
burning.
so
Like I said
terrible.
last time, a few
It's a
times,
terrible
the
idea.
further we fly,
Oh man,
the
it's
more
gonna,
data we
it's
can
gonna
collect.
demolish
We do
shit.
expect that the camera views will be
What
spotty
if they
after
just
stage
use a whole bunch of
separation,
dry
and that's
ice
because
to
we
have that
rely on
fucking
ground
gloomy
stations
effect?
that are positioned
I think that
along the globe
I
along
I
the
don't know if
boundary.
XCOM Homer's being serious or not, if he's really a flat earther, but I hope not, because I once had respect for X-Homer.
To see if we can get that data.
Yeah.
If he is, ask him to explain blood moons and how they can be predicted so precisely.
Explain blood moons.
Blood moons, when they're like flat earthers haven't got a way to explain that. It's when obviously when the moon goes into the Earth's shadow, and we know exactly where it's going to happen and which part of the Earth is going to be able to see it. They've got no explanation for that, as far as I'm aware.
Well, I mean, mathematically, the Earth is flat. It's just infinitely flat.
So let's check in with
Well,
John for an update
it's
on the countdown.
it's based on when they put the projection up for the blood moon, so they know automatically when to put it up, and they put it up themselves. That one's an easy question to answer.
Oh, so there's just a huge projector somewhere.
Yeah,
you project the redness onto the moon.
I mean, do you believe that spheres are infinitely flat, or do you believe that there is not a single flat part on them?
I would probably lean towards there isn't an actual flat bit on them. If you're talking about a perfect, just abstractly, just talking about a perfect sphere. Obviously, the Earth isn't a perfect sphere. We can create flat surfaces on the Earth, just very small. Yeah,
you have a bulge at the equator. Hang on, I want to jump in real quick. So to answer your question, Comer, so this is where we're currently at: 68% LOX, 65% CH4, which is methane. In the ship, we have 93% LOX and 90% CH4. So that's kind of the breakdown. This isn't going to be a full flight because they're not going to reach orbital inclination. So that probably has something to do with it. A lighter payload, lighter fuel load, because it's not going to be going as far as an orbital flight would, or a flight that's going to Mars or the moon. But fueling could take up to 2 hours for this potential vehicle because of how much there is there. So, but sorry, go ahead. I just wanted to throw that in while it was still up. So,
while you're on the subject, is the plan to actually try and land it, this one, or is it to ditch it?
Crashing into the water.
Right. Okay.
So the booster is going to be a soft landing off the in the Gulf of Mexico. So they're going to fly it out. It's going to go through its landing burns, all that kind of stuff. It's going to essentially hover over the water and then drop into the water. And they're not going to recover that one. The ship is going to do the ultimate belly flop from 100 kilometers, just a straight dive into a belly flop off the coast of Hawaii. So
I hope they've got some really good cameras.
I hope so too.
We do have the possibility of holding at T-minus 40 seconds as we're trying to get the last of the boats out of the safety area. Now, if for some reason we do not make our test flight today, we have a backup launch windows.
Oh, you shut your mouth. We're not even going to listen to this because it's going today.
So back to flat Earth. No.
that was the equivalent of Mighty just going la 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 la. I'm not listening.
I'm not listening.
If you're a boat in the Gulf right now and there might be an incursion because of your ass, then none of us are going to be very happy. So just get the hell out of there. And let's do this right.
Just pictured in my head. When they belly flop it down, right?
With future
I'm imagining like the guy from Castaway, like Tom Cruise. Sorry,
those future improvements
Tom Hanks type character thinks he's finally free. He's on his paddling, and then Starship just lands on him.
Now, for reference, Falcon 9's heaviest payload to date is about 17 metric tons.
Hey, you know what? They'll
so we're
find
talking
faster.
about an order of
They'll just be a
magnitude
body.
more with Starship in terms of.
What?
Sorry, what?
They'll find him faster. Just the body.
That's true. How come they're not even trying to land it? The FAA will not allow them to without sufficient flight data. So they are doing it's basically an appeasement procedure. The original, so here's Starship's about as big as Statue of Liberty. Super Heavy is about as large as Falcon 9. So basically why they're not trying to land it is they don't have the telemetry data to land it successfully. That is fucking Godzilla. Love it. So they do not have the data to land it successfully, and the FAA won't allow them to land it on land. The original thought is these chopsticks. You see these long
larger engines. More engines means more power to deliver a.
Damn it! There, now I can do it. Those long. Thanks. Ooh, that's That's pretty. So those
they
long.
waited for you to talk about them so they could change the camera.
I know, assholes. So the chopsticks are supposed to grab the actual booster as it flies back in. So that's the plan. So they can refuel the booster and send another ship right after. They also have purchased 2 oil platforms. One of them is Demios, and I forgot the other one's name. But they have 2 oil platforms that they're going to put off the coast so that they can land without. Ooh, look at that engine chill. You can see the frost strength. We're ahead of schedule. We shouldn't see engine chill for another minute.
Yay,
2
ahead of
minutes.
schedule.
Do they sometimes do that? Do they sometimes cut down the T minus and it suddenly is shorter? Or I don't know, because I'm not as familiar with these things.
Test flights is kind of all up and back and forth. It can go any which way. But yeah, they shouldn't launch until the window. So I don't know if it's just these are all approximate times, anyways. But yeah, the T minus is 19 minutes. See, this is vented. This is their hot staging ring, and it's vented. So I don't know if it's strong enough to hold the thrust and the ship, but we'll see.
It's gonna melt.
Phobos and Demios. Thank you.
Is that where you got your Diablo character name from?
Yep. So they repurposed oil platforms that they are currently building in. I think it's in Galveston actually that they're working on them. Because I didn't see them last time I was in Boca, so I think it's in Galveston. Repurposing for landings of both booster and Starship in the future. So
yeah, they added this layer, didn't they? Because that was the issue on the last one, where it wouldn't decouple properly. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are 3 major updates on this launch vehicle. One, the flight termination system. So the fancy word for explosives to blow it out of the sky if it deviates from course. That was part of the FAA's master plan. The second is they have a fire suppression system and they actually got rid of part of it was they didn't have thrust vector control because one of the pumps burned out because hydraulic fluid doesn't like getting hot, and it blew one of the pumps out. And it could no longer TVC or thrust vector control. Oh, thank you for playing the animation. I don't have to play mine. So that's the idea. Right there. Hot stage, spin back, boost back. So that was part of it. So fire suppression system, new launch abort system, or basically explosives. And the third is this hot staging, because they think this is key to so they're going to shut down most of the engines. There's been several different iterations of how many in the core they're going to shut down, but somewhere probably in the 9 range is what they'll leave firing post launch. And then they're going to fire all 6 of the engines, the 3 vacuum optimized and the 3 sea level optimized that are on Starship second stage. So that's what we got going on there. And the ship will pull it away, and it mirrors like the launch escape system that was on Apollo or the Saturn V. It mirrors the launch escape system that's currently on SLS. It mirrors the Super Dracos that are on the Dragon capsule. Something to pull the humans away from the bad bits. So that's part of the idea. Yeah.
If it works on all these other systems, then yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And to have, like you say, to pull it away from what is effectively just a giant bomb right behind you.
Yeah. Especially with the FTS on this first stage, it is literally a giant bomb. And of course, you wouldn't put humans with an FTS like this, but So here's the answer to your
from
question.
Flight 1.
They made a blast
The most
shield.
notable of which is the interstage here. So on Flight 1, that interstage was completely enclosed. But for hot staging, the interstage portion between the booster and the ship is going to see dramatic increases in pressure and temperature. So we had to change the structure to include vents for the exhaust gases that the ship's Raptor engines will produce.
I don't like the NASA spaceflight guy saying we. He's not part of the SpaceX team. Sorry, just a personal aside.
Forces that are being directly imparted on the booster and maximize the exhaust gas that's going through those vents. We've also beefed up the ship's space heat shield to
I bet it's an
withstand
expensive
the
piece of
higher
metal, that
temperatures and pressures. And for today's test,
Yeah, it's
really getting through hot staging would be a
340L.
major milestone.
Well, it's
There are some
340X
risks
now,
associated
actually.
with this test,
Or 304X.
of course,
excuse
the
me.
ship and booster are going to be pretty far out over the ocean in the safety zone.
Because he has something with X, like Elon and his X's, but it's 304X, so it's a special blend of stainless steel that takes the best properties of 304L and makes them flight ready. So, so they made their own
alloy.
Yeah,
I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Little rocket man. Blast shield as like a forced separation point that like the thrusters are going to push against.
Yeah, basically a hard point that will provide
It should
buildup
provide
thrust.
resistance for it to push away from, shouldn't it? It should give it
Yeah. Yep.
yeah, the surface to fire into.
Yep. So there's the deluge system.
Heavy Raptor engines fired their full thrust into the foundation.
It is
for
not
more than
in
12
KSP
seconds.
2 or
So
1.
now we have a
actually.
new high-pressure, water-cooled steel flame.
It might be in
deflector
KSP2
system that we
if
developed
this
and
works well.
installed between
They
the
might
flights,
add it.
and there you can see the video of it dispensing 260,000 gallons of water. And that's designed to
I call this thing the
dissipate
rocket
those loads
bidet.
from the Raptor engines and support rapid turnaround of the launch pad with minimal refurbishment between flights. Part of a rapidly
like the
reusable launch
pre-flush.
system also means the pad
Exactly.
infrastructure. Yeah, we performed multiple standalone tests.
Okay, I can't do his we shit. You don't work for SpaceX. Sorry, just a personal.
I can imagine you might, if you were there, you'd be like, "What exactly did you do then?"
Right. What
Same
the
we.
fuck did you do?
Yeah. What was
You
your
stood
part in
up
all
this
of it?
morning? Like, I appreciate your coverage. I've watched a lot of it, but you didn't do shit. You're not an engineer. But so here's one of the things. Like, the suppression system was something that he was trying to get away from, because if you land on Mars, you're obviously not going to have that. You're not going to have be able to keep the dust down, stuff like that. I don't like the word minimal refurbishment, because part of this rapid reusability and the fact that, we're going to make it to Mars one day, relies on the fact that you're sending up 15, 20, 30 of these boosters with full tankers to fly out to Starship and refuel it along its journey. If you have to refurbish the pad between each and every flight, you're talking a year to get 30, if you're reconcreting or doing whatever. I think that's a bad choice of words, and I understand material science isn't there yet, but it's not encouraging.
Is that how many it would take to fuel it, to get enough fuel to get it to Mars? Like 30? How does that work?
30 is the 30 is the conventional thought process currently. How you get them that far out, I don't know. That's part of my contention that we can't get to Mars yet. We don't have the technology. I think realistically you have to have floating fuel depots around, spaced out, and you continue to carry fuel. This is Falcon 1. This is their first test.
Here you see our Falcon 1 Flight 4. 15 years ago,
This is the
in
first one that
September,
made it.
That vehicle became the first privately developed liquid-fueled launch vehicle to orbit Earth. If Falcon 1 Flight 4 had not succeeded, it would have meant the end of SpaceX.
And our first successful landings didn't come easily. We had to miss the target a few times before we ultimately stuck the landing. but each of
I
those
don't-
landing
I-
attempts
I don't
and
like
how to
it.
not
I
land the
don't
orbital
like it.
rocket
You're so
were
right
teaching
about
us
it being
what we needed
a little
to know
annoying.
in a flight-like environment to get that full picture of how all the systems interacted together.
I'm not trying to be
Man.
bitchy.
Yeah, this
I'm
is
just
me trying to not
you-
get goosebumps watching
nothing.
this first drone
You
ship landing. I
completed
hosted that
nothing.
webcast, and it was so exciting to see that iterative development.
Like homegirl, she works for SpaceX. Like you can say we, like you are employed by SpaceX. These gentlemen are not. So
I mean, are they contracted with them at all?
no, so they were on the YouTube channel NASA Spaceflight.
Okay, yeah, nope.
And it was just an outreach thing,
So just
kind of a crossover outreach.
So just a talking head for NASA, basically.
Well, they're not even affiliated with NASA. They're just NASA Spaceflight is their channel name. So they got really lucky. The young lady who started it lived in Boca, or still does, and started filming, and then they started putting together a network, and good on them. But yeah, it's not a we thing, in my opinion. But
Too, but as a reminder, today is a test. We really hope to get to stage separation, but any data received will help us improve. It's the second of many future flight tests of Starship before it becomes fully operational.
Unless it blows
And
up
these
again.
flight tests teach us about the limits of our design. They help us improve our understanding of the vehicle, and ultimately
I'm trying to
will
figure
help
out
us
if
to make
Brian's got
Starship
popcorn. I
more
can hear some
reliable
kind
and
of
rapidly
rustling.
reusable. So again,
I'm
whatever these
sorry,
become
it's a
and however far we
Pop-Tart.
get today, we can
I'm really
promise an
hungry.
excitement. So why are we doing all of this? Why do we need a rocket?
oh, they
this
put up the
big?
Mecha
Why does it need to be
Godzilla
reusable
video.
so quickly? And
SpaceX
that
did.
answer goes back
I'm
to
stealing it.
SpaceX's mission, which is to make life multiplanetary.
We aren't just building a new spacecraft. We're changing what it means to go to space.
See, she can say
By building
we.
the most powerful rocket ever flown and a ship designed to carry people, cargo, habitat, satellites, and more, we're unlocking a future where our dreams of exploration will no longer exceed our grasp. And this mission continues with flights like today's integrated test.
And these are flights where we're going to fail fast, but learn even faster. Where each
Comer, I'm
time
just
we're
giving
going
you
to
a hard
try
time, buddy.
something new while flying something that we've improved. And ultimately, that's going to build up a
As
fleet
am
to
I.
fly early and often as Starship rapidly evolves to become more capable and more reliable.
And they're doing all
The
of this
first
so we
stop
can
is our nearest
strand
neighbor,
Matt Damon
with
on
a surface
Mars.
that hasn't
That's
seen
the
visitors
plan,
in
isn't it?
more than 50 years.
I hope so.
Under Artemis with NASA, Starship
Matt
will
Damon.
We
return
just-
people back
We
to the
just said
moon.
Hollywood to
After
Mars.
those first expeditions,
Yeah,
we're
Let's talk
ready
a
to
little bit
fly
about
more
how
people
tall the
along with
vehicle
everything.
is. The Super Heavy booster alone stands about 70 meters tall, and that's about the same height as a fully integrated Falcon 9. The height of Starship on top of it is comparable to that of the Statue of Liberty. But of course, the most technical length unit is that of Godzilla's, and we can confidently say that the fully stacked Starship and Super Heavy is at least one Mechagodzilla tall. It just so happens that we refer to the launch and catch tower at Starbase as the Mechazilla from the Godzilla movie, and you could see from that that the resemblance is quite uncanny.
Very, very uncanny.
Already clipped it.
Oh my god.
Multiplanetary. But for now, anyway, as the clock
That's the
counts
most
down to
base deemed
today's flight
measurement.
test, why don't we get another
Mechagodzillas.
status update from John?
We're just over 9 minutes from liftoff as the countdown clock clicks to 0. The teams, good news is, teams aren't working any significant issues on the launch vehicle right
Fantastic.
now. Propellant loading is continuing on both the Super Heavy and the ship stages. Most recently, we began loading LOX and methane fuel into the header tanks on the Starship. And on the
Beautiful.
graphic on the left side of the
Oh,
screen,
they are
you can
gonna
see
fill it.
up in the
They are
nose
gonna
of the
fill it
second
up.
Stage, what we call
Damn.
Starship,
I stand
are
corrected.
those two header
Ooh.
tanks for fuel and liquid
That's
oxygen.
so sexy.
Now that loading started at T-minus 24 minutes and will continue until approximately T-minus 5.5 minutes. Now Starship's second stage main fuel and LOX tanks are loaded for
Yes.
flight. And the second stage propellant that we're
Someone said
loading on
banana.
board is going through the quick disconnect that comes out on the arm that's located at the base of the stage from the tower.
About 10
On
minutes
the
ago.
Super Heavy booster,
Sorry,
propellant
miss.
loading will continue until T-minus 3 minutes. We've also configured the pad for liftoff. A little earlier in the count, the hold downs, the booster hold downs were commanded to unlatch. That means once the rocket has sufficient thrust to overcome its weight, it'll lift off the pad. There's no
And this
need
one,
to
yeah.
command the hold downs to release the rocket. As we mentioned earlier also, the ignition sequence has been slightly modified from the last flight for a more efficient
Okay.
liftoff. As a reminder, we ignite the engines a few seconds before T0. We don't lift off exactly at T0. We lift off a few seconds later, a couple seconds. Finally, the SpaceX team continues to check in with the Coast Guard to ensure there are no boats in the safety perimeter before proceeding with launch out over the Gulf of Mexico.
What's a header
Now,
tank vent?
currently, we're coming up T-minus 7 minutes, 10 seconds to the test flight of Starship. Propellant loading is continuing on both stages of Starship.
So the header tank is the revelation that they got when they crashed 4 in a row. That there was enough pressurization to relight the Raptors. So the header tanks are imperative.
Propellant
So
load will finish at approximately T-minus 3 minutes. At that stage, both first and second stages are fully loaded, and we'll have the 10 million pounds of liquid propellant on board the 2 stages.
10 million pounds
On the next few
of
minutes, the
fuel.
guidance system will perform its final alignment.
10 million.
Get the automated flight termination system.
Can we get that in Mechagodzillas?
Final TVC checkout will be performed.
3.
Looking up at the engines is we
I don't know.
13 middle engines.
Godzilla. Wait.
And with XCOM asking about, when Godzilla became a measurement for anything, you can think of one Godzilla or 2 Mighty Meat hands, one on top of the other.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So 40,000 metric tons is a Mechagodzilla.
And a lot of cheering here in Hawthorne. The boats are heading south, but we are still planning to hold a T-minus 40 seconds if necessary.
We are much, much, much heavier than Godzilla.
Just amazing views of today's launch. There's nothing quite like a launch.
Hang on, I'm doing
sunrise. Sunrise, I think, was just
that sun peeking through the fumes.
Out at Starbase.
Yeah,
We are just over 1 Mechagodzilla.
Again, these are live
10 million pounds is about 4,500 metric tons, give or take. And
primary objective today is to
or 45,000 metric tons, excuse me. And 1 Mechagodzilla is 40,000 metric tons. So we're about 5,000 metric tons over a Mechagodzilla.
Oh, that's awesome.
You're welcome.
Some of the engines on the first stage.
Elon ordered hookers, and we're 1 Mechagodzilla worth of fuel. The only thing you get on Mighty Meat.
Away from the ship, it'll separate the 2 stages. So that's the primary goal for today. We really hope
there's some amazing shots coming out of this footage. There's going to be loads of stills later, photos.
Beautiful.
Incredibly helpful and help inform future.
So why is there so much gas leaving the tank yard?
There are other objectives for today too.
So there's a bunch leaving the tank yard because it's a condenser, so it's relieving pressure. So for that, those ones coming off the tower right there, those are probably purges. I don't know if they're purging yet, but it seems like about the time they should be.
Yeah, exactly.
So the real reason is somebody dropped a box of the dry ice. Don't listen to what Mighty's saying.
Dry ice and water.
Yeah, somebody just dropped a box by accident.
Hollywood, It
happens. The CGI is getting really good these days.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I knew the moon landing was fake.
Look at all that, though. Look at all that on the ground.
I want to go run through it, even though I know that I'd probably suffocate.
What should be oxygen? Would you suffocate in oxygen?
Fine, my insides would spontaneously combust.
You just get really high because you'd have a lot of oxygen.
Yeah, just don't spark up a cigarette.
That was going to be farther than we got on Flight 1. Yes. Flight 1, that was about as far as we got. We didn't have hot staging on that vehicle. So that's the first and foremost objective.
So that's definitely a purge. So that's purging the lines.
You just saw one start.
Now,
these are depressed vents.
Cool about Starship, and it's different from Falcon 9, is we can
and this is
hold
from
a
the
little
tank
bit longer
farm.
if we needed to than we can on Falcon 9 missions.
So we have 3 different,
once we get to
3 different
T-minus
vents
40
causing all
seconds,
that.
And if we did have a
Air.
hold, depending on the reason for the hold, we can hold for up to 30 minutes. And today, actually, our entire launch window is about 20 minutes.
Are you fucking? Are you calling this? Are you calling the shots here? Because it doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, absolutely. With Falcon,
I don't like him saying that.
we have to go
because
exactly
I have to
at
leave after
T0.
about
That
10 minutes
40-second
past
hold
1.
is super helpful. If we need to, for example,
I love how it went from 5 to 10.
The COP.
Oh yeah, no, I said I could push it to 10.
Flight
Like,
levels.
okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know, perhaps
If the engineers just
So
need to
they're
look at
using
some of the
oxygen
data,
and
see
what
how
methane
engines are
you said?
performing or the avionics.
Methane.
Those checkouts,
Liquid methane, CH4,
being able
and
to,
So I bet you a lot of that gas is also methane.
there could be a good amount of methane too.
Yeah, it's not going to smell too good.
Absolutely not. It smells like farts all around Boca.
Yep. I would easily trade it for.
So when they've actually got astronauts in these things in the future, and one of them turns to the other like, "It wasn't me, honestly, it wasn't." Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's just gaseous ass.
Next event coming up, TVC wiggles as we move the center engine.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Thrust vector control wiggles. There we got it. We got good wiggle.
See maybe just a little bit there.
Yeah, wiggling.
Yeah, wiggle.
Wiggles
wiggle,
are
wiggle,
underway
wiggle,
as we're checking
worm.
out the first stage.
90 seconds to launch.
That's the equivalent of a cat wiggling just before they
TVC
pounce.
checks are complete.
Yes.
Next major event we're going to hear, hopefully, is the flight director go for launch.
See, I imagine the black guy who's like wiggling, like putting his like hands together because he's about to eat some like barbecue or something.
As we're coming up
Oh,
on
that
T
meme.
minus
The-
1 minute. When we
Yeah.
get to T minus 40 seconds, we'll just listen in.
All right, 15 seconds, and then we're going to quiet and listen for the go.
So we're going to watch
10
that.
seconds.
As we press the T0,
Light it up,
we're
Elon.
going to watch and listen the second test flight of Starship.
Hold. And we go. Fuck yeah. Go SpaceX.
Hell yes.
Go Starship. Let's light this fucking candle. Come on, baby.
Back to rapid recycle.
Oh no, it's gone back.
Oh.
No. This is not the time for your time is relative stuff. Move it forwards.
Oh shit. So we got to recycle on our T-minus clock. We have a 20-minute window for built-in
Hawthorne, we're
hold.
40 seconds in holding. We had a rapid recycle. We've not heard anything over the countdown net as the team works both first and second stages. We're going to monitor the nets here for a minute.
I hope this is Elon just trolling.
Oh, I hope so too.
I told you they weren't going to go to 8:05. I don't know where we got to go and then hold though. That's
Got
concerning.
A little bit of an update. We're continuing to hold at T-minus 40 seconds. This is the normal hold point for Starship, as we talked earlier.
Right.
Sounds like we're working just late pressurization on, I believe, the second stage. Team
Oh,
is
that's not good.
working it. All the other systems are on hold right now at 40 seconds. We can hold here for about 15 minutes or so before we would run out of window for this morning. So right now they're working on filling pressure vessels. And ideally we'll be able to solve this and come back and release the clock at T-minus 40 seconds. We're going to continue to listen and monitor for another few minutes.
So wait, what
Not
happened? The depressurization happened?
There's a pressurization in the second stage. So in the Starship stage, there's a pressurization issue. So either a stuck valve or a freeze or
And
could be.
It's worth mentioning here that don't go away. We are holding
Shut the
at
hell
T-minus
up.
40 seconds.
He's on the launch pad fixing the damn problem. Shut up.
God, let's put him on the launch pad so we can fix the damn problem.
You just need one guy up there with a hammer just to hit it. That's all. That'll work. That always works. Just one little hit. Bump.
There's nobody within 20 miles of it right now, though. They wouldn't get there in 15 minutes.
They'd be destroyed.
Oh, we're rolling.
Oh, shoot.
T-minus 30 seconds.
There we go.
Go SpaceX. Go Starship. They're ahead of their count.
T-minus 15.
Come on, baby. Come on, baby.
10.
Minus 10. There's the water deluge system.
6. 5. 4.
And we have engine ignition.
2. 1.
Yes, baby.
Oh, yes. We got all 33. All
So much
33
power.
engines. All 33 engines. 400 feet tall. 400 feet
Beautiful
tall.
flight.
3.5 million pounds of thrust. All 33 engines lit.
They haven't had a burnout yet, which is good.
Yeah.
See them all.
By this time, like, what, they had already 3 gone?
We are T plus 40 seconds into the flight of Starship. 33 Raptor engines powering the first stage.
Power and telemetry nominal.
We've heard power and telemetry nominal call out. We're heading downrange over the Gulf of Mexico.
Oh my God.
They already hit max Q.
Net
Supersonic.
tells us Starship is through the
Max
period
Q?
of greatest stress on the way to space. Now the next major event is hot
that looks
staging.
beautiful.
Just over 90 seconds from now. To get ready, the booster will shut down all but 3 of the Raptor engines.
Okay, they're going to
Flames
go 3.
holding the 2 stages together will release, and the Starship's second stage will ignite its engines. Starship will then separate from the Super Heavy booster and head to space. And at the same time, the 3 engines that are still firing on Super Heavy will flip the booster around. 10 more engines will ignite for the boost back burn, putting the first stage on path for a splashdown in the Gulf of Mexico.
This is amazing.
This is incredible.
It's altitude already, man.
Absolutely
They still haven't
incredible.
lost a booster.
All 33 are going to fly the whole way through.
Engine power continues to look nominal on 33 Raptor engines. We're about to shut down the first stage and perform staging. Let's watch and listen.
So 30 should shut down. Only this core 3 will remain.
And acquisition of signal Houston and New Orleans.
And they're shut down.
Booster engine cut off.
Oh, wow.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, that was nice. Yes.
Stage separation.
Holy
Yes!
shit.
It actually worked.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh, my.
You're hearing the cheering. The first ever successful hot stage for
Holy
SpaceX's
shit.
Starship.
Wait, this is a first ever successful hot
Views
stage.
of our Super
All right,
Heavy booster.
turn. Oh.
And as you can see, the Super
Yes.
Heavy booster has just experienced a
They didn't get
rapid,
it.
unscheduled disassembly. However, our ship is still underway with all 6.
Power and telemetry nominal.
And we just heard there, ship avionics, power and telemetry nominal. All 6
We'll talk
engines are
about that
lit,
in a
as you
minute.
can see from the GUI there at the bottom right-hand side of your screen.
Okay, SpaceX time to switch cameras.
Now,
Let's
we
see
did
what's up.
know that the that hot staging was going to be incredibly dynamic. We knew that there was a chance that the booster would not survive, but we're going to take that data and figure out how we can make the booster better for the next hot stage.
So the booster didn't flip.
Yeah, that hot staging put a lot of load on the top of the booster. And of course, it flipped around there, a lot of dynamic stuff happening. But ship is still going strong.
And it's doing great. Right now, the ship, the second stage, is on its way. Like we said, you can see all 6 of its engines are ignited. The next major milestone for the ship will be the shutdown of those engines, or SECO, second engine cutoff, which if you follow our Falcon 9 launches, familiar terminology there. So far, today has been incredibly successful, even with the RUD of the Super Heavy booster. This is amazing.
Primary objective of the booster today, to get to hot staging, to get ship on its way to orbit. It did that admirably.
Yeah, we definitely
trajectory nominal.
All right, great news there. That trajectory for ship is nominal. Once again, Starship's second stage is firing those engines. And as you just heard, everything's looking good. Now for the ship, we wanted it to survive hot staging, which as you can see there by that little dot on your screen, it did. We also want to basically demonstrate that successful startup of those engines, demonstrating controlled ascent, which is what it's doing right now, and eventually orbital insertion. We are hoping to basically send this around the Earth, and if it makes it this far, splash down in the Pacific Ocean, a couple hundred miles north of Hawaii. Now, if we get that far, like all of that sounds great. Secondary objectives for ship, again, continuing to gather engine data and about its health, performance.
Nominal ship chamber pressures.
Great news there. That tells us that the chamber pressures inside of the Starship, again, that's that small dot on your screen, basically the propellant pressures in the ship are looking good.
Yeah, the bottom right corner of your screen, you can see essentially a user interface showing us which engines are lit. So the 3 center sea level Raptor engines on ship are gimbaling engines. The 3 outer engines in the triangle.
Bye-bye, Dance.
Later, Dance.
Thanks
buddy.
for joining us, buddy.
Sorry, buddy. I've got to go. It's just a shame.
No, you're totally
This is amazing.
fine.
I'm going to watch this back later to see what happens the rest of it.
Yeah, no worries, buddy.
See you all later.
Take
Bye.
care, bud.
Great to see you.
So real quick with that, so that booster, it did not flip successfully. They tried to relight some of the engines on the outside to flip it. It was always a big ask. That flip is going to be a concern, especially with those dynamic forces pushing it into itself. To flip it the other way is going to be a tough sell. Like, it's going to be hard to do, and it was not successful. They were losing it, and instead of it being a concern and trying to recover it, they were only 90 kilometers off Earth, so they decided to terminate the flight. I think it was a good call. So
absolutely,
if the booster.
Sorry, go ahead.
I have a theory about why maybe it blew, or why they had to do that, and I think it has to do with the blast shield. I think they probably dented it into the rocket, causing pressure problems.
Could have. Very well could have. So, we'll obviously see. We'll get information, but yeah, what matters is it didn't flip. So,
yeah, absolutely.
For the next flight.
So it is out of range now. So there's flame out. That almost looked like a boom boom, but still showing. Maybe it was just flame out. All right, somebody get down to South Texas and get me a piece of booster.
Is it going to survive re-entry?
They're standing by for.
Yeah, it was only 90 kilometers.
Here.
Oh, okay.
Coming up on the projected time that ship would shut down its engines.
As you can tell by the excitement from the crowd here at Mission Control Center in Hawthorne. Oh, there's a great view.
There's
of
Elon.
our
Elon.
Center. That's our control center at Starbase, Texas. The crowd here, Mission Control Center behind us in Hawthorne.
I like how the guy's shirt is literally just one of the boosters that went dead.
This has been so far.
God, that's so sexy.
Very much so.
And I mean, up to this point, major successful milestones through hot staging, which was the big objective today. So we are going to head into the coast phase, planned for the next about hour and 5 minutes. We'll be returning around the T+1 hour and 15-minute mark. And that's while we're waiting for Starship to continue on to its next step for reentry. We're not totally sure what video we're going to get. And that video comes normally by overflying ground stations, but we don't have a ton along our flight path. So
God, I
fingers
bet you wish
crossed
you were that
that
kid right
we
now.
will get some via Starlink on this mission since
I
we're
do.
testing that out.
Same size hands and everything.
I know.
And also give us a moment. We are hearing some chatter on the net, so we're going to try to parse that for you.
Acquisition of signal. They should have some signal acquisition. They should have Bermuda by now, I would think. Extremely successful test. Extremely successful.
I want to see this belly flop so bad.
Yep, me too. It's an hour from now.
It takes an hour to wait, but they're not orbiting, I guess.
No, there's no orbital. It's
John Innsbrucker back here in Hawthorne at our webcast desk. We have lost the data from the second stage. We heard a call out that we were internal.
I told you, I
which
think
means
it
we were
blew
getting
up.
near the end of the approximately 6-minute burn of Starship, but
I think
we
it blew up.
haven't gotten any more data since then, so we think we may have lost the second stage. So we would not be into coast phase. We wouldn't be able to come back in an hour or so and possibly get ready for reentry. However, what
And when
we
I
do know
said,
right now
I
is
think
we
it
had
blew
an
up.
on-time launch at 7 o'clock.
I
We
think it
got
blew
through the
up.
boats. First stage looked beautiful with 33 Raptor engines firing. We got the hot staging, you know, the thing that we really wanted to see and impressed. We saw the separation. We saw the flip maneuver.
So there's
We
too much
saw
stress
the
on the
light up of
vehicle.
the 6 Raptor engines
If they
on
didn't,
Starship,
if they didn't
and it headed
terminate
away,
the flight,
everything really looked good.
then there's too much stress
But
on
what
the
we do
vehicle.
believe right now is that the automated flight termination system on second stage appears to have triggered
FTS.
very
Okay.
late in the burn as we were headed downrange out over the Gulf of Mexico. But the real topping on the cake today, that successful liftoff, Kate, Shiva, the hot staging is just beautiful. Exactly what we were looking for.
Yeah, ultimately, what
This is
honestly
called the
such
spin
an
room.
incredibly successful day, even though we did
So they try to
have
spin it in their favor.
a RUD or a rapid unscheduled disassembly of both the Super Heavy booster and the ship. That's great. We got so much data, and that will all help us to improve for our next flight.
Of course, and that's why we flight test, and you can bet
Oh,
that there's
shut
going to
up
be
with
more
your
to
why
come.
we flight test.
So we really do want to thank you all for joining us. Of course, we want to thank the people of Cameron County. We want to thank all the federal agencies that have supported us for our test, and of course, a huge congratulations to the entire SpaceX
So
team
say
on
it
getting
didn't
through
blow up because this
flight
guy's voice
test
is annoying.
today. And I think
say
with
it
that,
didn't
we're going to
blow
sign
up.
off from here now.
On the case that it does actually survive, is it going to like fly itself into the proper place about an hour from now?
No, after it loses signal, so after it loses ground communication, it automatically terminates its own flight. So it would explode itself out of abundance of caution.
So it's either blown up or it blew itself up.
Correct. It either was triggered to blow up or it triggered itself to blow up.
Either way, it's triggered. Dang it.
Either way, it exploded. Great flight, though. Fantastic flight. A lot to learned a lot to work on. Sorry, I'm typing. We all know this.
Well, Bobby, it might not blow up the next
right.
time. It's progress.
Right. Well, it probably will. Probably will. So they're going to take little by little, and they're going to, well, I mean, in 10 years, 8 years probably, this is how it works. I mean, you have to. This has never been done before, and it's the largest vehicle ever to launch ever. You're gonna face challenges, and even this little bit of a drawback was an incredible success. I mean, this was by far the most successful flight that we've seen in a very long time out of anybody.
Right.
Again, we're talking about a 400-foot tall, 30 feet around fucking building. We're talking about building flying into space. So
yeah, I mean, just think about like the progression that we've seen so far. I mean, the first time it didn't even get to decouple for one, and two, like we lost like half the engines. I say we. Oh Jesus.
Right. Oh shit! Look at that. You're becoming an asshole.
I am. It's bad. But yeah, no, they lost like half the engines like almost immediately.
Yeah.
So like
no, SpaceX has come a long way. There was no thought that this was going to be flawless and perfect. Anybody thinking that doesn't know how space travel works.
I was hoping to see the belly flop though.
I was hoping. I thought we were going to be clear and get the belly flop because of the fact that ascent was going so nominal. But we didn't, and it happens. So here's the important 45 seconds again for XCOM.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have liftoff. Vehicle pitching downrange.
Chambers pressure nominal.
I mean, it's just incredible. Happily, I'd jump on the next one. I'd jump on this one if you'd have let me. I'm okay with it. I lived a long, happy life. In a heartbeat. I think what they're doing is amazing, and yeah, Desert history was absolutely made today. It's incredible. It's incredible what was accomplished today. There's just no words for it. I'm happy with the progress. I'm happy with everything that they've done and achieved. It's not easy work. It is not easy work at all.
So I know I asked this question before, but was that actually like the first successful hot separation?
I would say yes. I can't think of one that I can't think of one that would be even remotely close.
Like, because NASA never did it, right?
Right. But NASA doesn't do shit.
They like throwing up large single objects into space.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to grab the whole.
That's fine, because I'm just trying to think about the because that's set, because there's probably a whole lot of forces that we don't even think about, like having to push off separately from another booster probably caused enough vibration where that might have damaged the sensors.
Very well could have. There's a lot of things at play that you don't think about, or that isn't accounted for. Oh, I guess I can go back on SpaceX's feed. Yeah, we'll watch it again. Fuck it. See if we can see anything else.
But yeah, I mean, they probably like accidentally unplugged their micro USB from their cell phone that they use.
I mean, plus you know that aircraft used to crash all the damn time too, right? Said you'd rather take an airplane. They crash all the time still.
Yeah, they do. I mean, just think about cars.
Mm-hmm.
More people die from car crashes than space accidents every year.
Yeah. Shit, I'm not sharing it. Damn it.
No, you're not.
Why didn't you say something?
I thought you were still finding it. You're slow at this stuff normally.
No, I was admiring. There we go. Rocket envy. You know, it's real. It's real.
Oh, it is. It is real.
No, I don't want that one. Yeah, fuck us. We don't need to be here.
Yeah.
I mean, we're here. We're just not visible.
Bobby, airplanes have spontaneously exploded. The fuck you mean?
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have the bus. Keep the pitching down range.
To be fair, they spontaneously exploded because they put massive amount of explosives on it to make them spontaneously explode so that they don't hurt people on the ground.
We are
True.
40 seconds into the flight of Starship.
It's called the flight termination
Raptor
system.
engines powering the first stage.
Power and telemetry nominal.
We've heard power and telemetry nominal call out. We're heading downrange over the Gulf of Mexico. And that
Can't wait till I
call
can see
out
that
tells
weird
us Starship
blue
is
that,
in a period
yeah.
of greatest stress on the way to space.
What is that?
Now the
What-
next
what?
The blue.
So the blue is going to be the outgases. So basically the stuff that's burning off, that's coming off the engines and not combusting all the way. So they're not getting full combustion is my thought, just based on what's going on.
So they need to do a better ratio of oxygen to methane.
Correct. Also a new fuel, so they don't know. I want to point something out right here. You're starting to see a little bit of bend. You see this? See that little bit of bend?
I see that, yeah.
I saw it the first time around. I just wanted to make sure before I said anything, but you're starting to see a little bit of bend, like it was like the thrust on the pitch was starting to.
You know what? And
maybe
that's probably
deform the
why
ring.
it's spun bad.
Yep. That was my thought.
Yeah,
So.
because it's at the vents that it bent.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, yeah, that vent.
Major event is hot staging in just over 90 seconds from
And
now.
you can see the wobble.
To get ready, the booster
It's
will
hard,
shut down
but you can
all
see a
but
little
3
bit of
the
wobble
Raptor engines.
in this area.
Flames holding the 2 stages together
here.
will release, and the Starship second stage will ignite its engines. Starship will then separate from the Super Heavy
And that's
booster
why it
and head to
fucking
space.
rotates
And at the same
counterclockwise.
time, the 3 engines that are still firing on Super Heavy will flip the booster around. 10 more.
So they know it here because do you see the roll? They're starting to roll this fin. So they're trying to set up for it. Because this fin was kind of up in this area. They're trying to
Yeah.
roll this fin to prep for it because they see it too.
Engines will ignite for the boost back burn, putting the first stage on path for a splashdown in the Gulf of Mexico.
That manual roll, yeah.
Yep. trying to put a little stabilization roll program. You can see it there too. Just kind of that little dip.
I think an extra 60 feet was too much. Maybe. Mostly because it's vents.
Yeah. It's hollow and
engine power continues to look nominal on 33 Raptor engines.
It's really pronounced there. You see how it's always straight. And I understand some of it's perspective, but you can also see a little bit of the buckle.
We're about to shut down the first stage and perform staging. Let's watch and listen.
There's more spinning happening.
Signal Houston and New Orleans.
Because they know it, so they're trying to account for it. Because when you see it spin off, you'll see it. They'll try and spin it back.
Booster engine cut off.
Oh, that's so sexy.
Mm-hmm.
Stage separation.
Do you see how they tried to cold gas it and tried to spin it back off?
It should not have done that.
We got a flip, but they overcompensated and it just flattened out. And then you can see the cold thruster trying to fire to stabilize it. So what they did is they overcorrected. They realized the problem, tried to correct, overcorrected, put it into a flat spin, and then now they're trying to correct back the other way. But now you have forces going left, right, and you're like, oh shit.
Well, it looks like it did the original flip function. Like they didn't turn off or adjust for what they did in their program that they had originally running.
Right.
So that's why it overcompensated. It would have been perfect, but they fixed it.
They tried to fix it. Right. Well, and now you'll see them try and fire the engines to stabilize.
The first ever successful hot stage for SpaceX's Starship.
Do you see those fires to stabilize? So they have these all turned this way to stabilize, and it didn't work. So they just terminate it.
Views of our Super Heavy booster.
Tried once, tried twice. Nope, we're good.
As you can see, the Super Heavy
Just
booster
don't need
has
to fall
just
anymore.
experienced a rapid, unscheduled disassembly. However,
Okay, so now we're gonna go forward on the ship, and I'm gonna show you where this damn thing blew up.
We're actually that's very
Right-
intentional as part of the
right
mission
here.
design. The goal is to get to a thrust profile similar to what we would need for orbit, but also
And
to get to the
also
energy
signal
levels
Houston.
that the ship would need to dissipate for re-entry. And so we're actually going in a suborbital
there.
trajectory today, but that trajectory will
Because that's not a flame out. You shouldn't see stuff like that because we still have fuel, and that's not a flame out. So they were calling it a flame out. They said loss of signal, which would have happened anyways, theoretically. But I believe this is where FTS blew up.
get us to the
second
energy
stage.
levels that we
Or
need
was
at reentry, where we can
something
really stress
happened
that
here
heat
for
shield
it to
and
blow
get
it up.
valuable data on reentry. And those calls that we are still on a nominal trajectory here and seeing nominal pressures means that we have a really good shot of hitting our target orbit.
yeah. Now, if the booster had survived, we would be around the time where it would be getting ready to land, performing its re-entry,
can start
but it
seeing some of the
unfortunately did
engines
not
flicker.
survive.
There it is. Well, maybe not. I don't know. See, it seems like there's a plume from the engine, and then it blows up. There. That's what I
say
was looking
that,
for.
That would be the explosion, I think.
Yeah,
the
I
next
think it was
flight.
just premature. So it looks like you had an engine problem. Your engine flamed out. It didn't like it, and it blew it up right there. Because there's your shock waves.
Yeah, because I think those first sets of lights that were coming off the back, those looked like they were maybe overactive, or like the bells
That being
on one of
said,
the engines.
that's okay. It survived several.
Yeah, you're definitely getting a lot of spread with that engine, and then I think that's and that's where they cut the feed too. So
Yeah.
I think that they knew it blew up right there.
Yeah, it looked like a.
That looks like an explosion.
Yes, 100%.
So,
but I wonder if it was like a bell problem, because I don't think they ever got one of these bells all the way up there on with this much force.
Yeah. Yeah, and these are older engines. These are 1 to 2 year old engines.
Oh yeah,
because of the production schedule. So it's not uncommon. The new ones are going to have better pressurization and are going to be better engines. So yeah,
I mean,
telemetry also stopped right there. So I think that's where they lost the vehicle.
So. I bet you somebody accidentally like dropped a screwdriver or something right on like right on that engine. So like they're like, ah shit, can't tell anyone. Or hear me out. They hit the orbiting tool bag.
Oh, wouldn't that be a bitch? At 24,000 kilometers an hour. Jesus, that would be terrible.
Just tears right through it.
Holy shit. But I think incredibly just an awesome launch. Like fantastic launch. God, I'm excited. I'm gonna tear apart that footage later and play with it, but see if I can see anything else.
I wonder if the FAA is also happy with it.
I wouldn't see why they wouldn't be. I think
I wonder what condition the ground is in.
I want to go so bad. I gotta make it to the next one, no matter what.
I know we're gonna be seeing reports on whether or not they did blow up the ground again or not.
Oh yeah, for sure. And there will be some damage to the pad. Like we're very well aware of that, but at some point there will be damage. But
I don't know. It looked like the rocket bidet worked great.
The rocket bidet did look pretty good, but it's still a lot of pressure and a lot of sound. So you're still gonna get damage no matter what. So
that's true.
But all right, ladies and gentlemen, I've been streaming for 3.5 hours. I'm gonna go get some sleep because I didn't last night. I'm gonna go sleep for like an hour, and then I will be on alternate. What the fuck is this? I should know these things, shouldn't I? I'll be on alternate corner. Let me make sure. Alternate corner. Yeah, alternate corner. Dylan, good man. He invited me over to watch the Matthew Moore trial with him today. So I'm going to be over there in a little bit. Throw the link in. I think we start at 11 my time. I should check
10 a.m. my time.
10 a.m. Brian's time. Because Brian's in Chicago time. But yeah, that's going to be it for me today. Thank you. No fucking way. No.
What?
What's the top say?
Elon Musk followed you? Yo!
Holy shit. I don't know what that other video from Digger is, so I'm not going to leave it up very long.
Yo, your dreams, they finally came true.
I tweeted him right after, so.
He's probably saying, man, that Brian S. guy, really smart. We should hire him.
Yeah, that mostly black Brian.
That mostly black guy, diversity hire. Come on, guys.
Hang on, I'm looking. STS distracted the vehicle. Yeah, we know STS distracted the vehicle. God, that sounds so great. Sorry. Now, what was I doing? I was checking my messages to see what time I was doing that. 11 Eastern. Okay. So I will be over on alternate corner, this channel, wherever it is, right here, at 11 Eastern. Over in some of the Matthew, Mark, Kyle, and answering some of the questions that they have and hanging out with Matt Moore. So that's going to be it for me today. Brian, thank you, buddy, for joining me today.
You are so welcome.
And thank you all for joining me today. It was awesome to have you. So it is Saturday. It is Saturday. I will catch you guys all on the next one. Have a good night, day, whatever it is. And I will see you soon. Bye-bye.